Urban Therapy with Sunshine 752. This is your daily go getimism number 805. For December 16th, 2016. Tonight I want to talk to y'all about asking somebody for permission. Permission to do things that you really don't need permission to do because you're an adult, but out of courtesy, out of respect, and possibly out of tradition or respect for a tradition, you still ask for permission to do these things. You know, it's funny because when we're younger, we hope that we'll get to an age or at least to a time or a point in our lives where we won't have to ask anybody to do the things that we want to do. But depending on the way we were raised, once that feeling of giving respect is ingrained in you, you don't really lose that. And it's actually a good thing to carry for the rest of your life, because the more respect that you're able to give, the more respect that you are able to expect. And I don't see how that can be a bad thing, no matter what. So there are certain things that we may do to show our respect. Respect for tradition, respect for a position, respect for just the person. So we may ask for permission to do things that, like I said, we don't really need permission for, but we still ask. You know, if you know that somebody is in a relationship or somebody is married, you know that it's a spousal situation and you need something from that spouse, even though you may have known the spouse longer than the other spouse has known them, you may still show respect for their union by doing certain things to show that you have respect. Like, for example, let's say you've had a long-term friend. You know, y'all been cool since forever, but you know they're married now. You may not know who the person is that they're married. You may not have known them all that long, or maybe you had, but nonetheless, you respect the institution of marriage and the rules that are set forth by that institution. So if you need them to do something for you, all right, let me put it this way. If I know a woman, I've known her all her life, and she's married now, out of respect for her husband, if I need something from that woman who's my good friend all my life, I'm not just going to ask her to do it. I could just ask her to do it, but out of respect for him, I may ask, listen, I need your wife to do something for me. You know what I mean? It's totally innocent, and you can even be there when we do it, whatever. But I just wanted to give you that respect of asking you, is it okay? So that way, he knows that there's no funny business going down, because men are funny. Men are funny sometimes. Women are funny too, but men are funny, and we always wonder if a woman has a male friend. Have they ever messed around? Are they still currently messing around on the low and all that kind of stuff? So to make sure that we at least get that part of it out, that part of suspicion out of the way, and not do some underhanded, backbiting type of thing, boom, just ask. And not only that, when they got married, maybe that spouse went to her family. Maybe he went to her mom, dad, whatever, whoever the surviving members of her family are, to ask for her hand in marriage. You don't have to ask a woman's family to marry her. You can just ask her. Start making the wedding arrangements and all of that. It's really nobody else's business. But in the spirit of tradition, and out of respect for that, and out of respect for making sure that her family knows that they want them to be included in the process, maybe you would just go ahead and ask her family, can you have her hand in marriage? And it shows them, even though they might think it's corny, like, oh, here you go. It might even raise suspicion of you, because it might be like, they might think that you're just asking them so you think that they are a good guy. I mean, so that they think that you are a good guy or whatever, and so you can run amok later on uncontested, like, oh, he wouldn't do that. He's a great guy. He asked for her hand in marriage. But nonetheless, we ask for things. We ask for permission to do things that we really don't need permission to ask for. I mean, we don't need permission to do. And those are just some of those things. Whether a couple is married or not. If it's a situation where you're the opposite sex and you need something from that person and they're in a relationship, it's a good thing to go ahead and clear it with the significant other, spouse, whatever. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of bullshit out of the game and relieves people of a lot of suspicion. They may need that. They may be insecure or whatever. A lot of people are insecure. But you don't need people giving more and more reasons to be insecure, you know? So we may ask. Even in a financial situation, you know, in your job or whatever, at work, you may be unsure of the rules, even though you know that certain things are permitted or whatever. You may still ask. You may still ask just to make sure that everything is cool. Like I said, questions that don't get asked don't need to be answered. So if you already do the legwork to make sure that the questions don't get asked, then you won't have to come up with all the answers, and you can avoid a very awkward situation later on. And you probably want to do that, you know? So we ask for things. We ask people for things that we really don't have to. Situation. I talked about this on a radio show this morning. A lot of times a woman will ask her man what he thinks about her changing her hairstyle. She may straight up ask him, listen, is it alright if I cut my hair? Or is it alright if I grow my hair long? Or is it alright if I change my hairstyle? I know you like it this way, and because you like it this way, I normally get it that way to please you. But I'd really like to try this new style out, and I think you'll like that too. So, you know, is it alright if I change it up a little bit? Of course, a woman doesn't have to ask her man if she can do something to her body, to her appearance that belongs to her. But out of respect for him, because she cares about how he's attracted to her and all of that, she may ask him. And trust and believe he's going to feel good about that. Like, you know, my shorty cares about me. You know, she wants to make sure that I'm good with something that she does that's going to possibly have an impact on my attraction to her. And it brings people together. It brings people together. But you have to take your ego and pride out of it. And you know that's not one of the easiest things for all of us to do. To take our ego and our pride out of it and all of that kind of stuff. Like I said, you don't have to ask. But the same thing goes on the male side. Now, not a lot of males won't admit to doing this, but a lot of times a man will ask his woman if it's okay to do certain things. I know men who have asked a woman, is it all right if they go to the strip club? They guarantee them that ain't nothing else going to go on, but every now and then they like to go to the titty bar and watch a few joints. Sometimes they'll ask them, you want to go along with me? Listen, I like to see them women and whatever. And I know that you're not into women, or maybe you might be. But if you want to come with me, oh, come on. Or if I'm just going with all of the boys or whatever, listen, you know, me and my boys, we used to go to the titty bar, whatever. We used to go to the strip club, and you know what I mean? It was just like sort of like a release. You know what I mean? I don't want you to think that I'm going out tricking or nothing like that. I'm not. I'm just going to go there, you know what I mean? You know, see a little something, possibly rub a little something, but I ain't going to tell you that. I ain't going to tell you I'm going to rub a little something. But he might ask her. You know, he might even make major purchases. You dealing with your spouse or whatever, or if y'all living together, you may ask, well, I want to buy this thing, even if it's your money. Well, listen, I'm gonna make this major purchase. I want to buy this car or whatever. You know, is it all right if I buy it? Yeah, it's your money. You're going to be paying a note, but maybe that money is community money, and it may be taken away from another bill or whatever, or putting that in question. So you make sure that you get clearance to be able to do it. Get the green light. Get the green light. It's not a hard thing to do. And like I said, it brings people together. You can have a discussion about it. It keeps the lines of communication open, And things seem to work out a little better when you do it like that. But a lot of people ain't gonna do it. It's not a bad idea to do it. It doesn't cost anything to do it. It's not even gonna cost you your ego to do it. But you're probably gonna feel like it's gonna cost you your ego to do it because you know. You know. But like I said, we ask for permission to do things that we really don't need permission to do. And we do that out of love. We do that out of respect. And we do that to make things flow more harmonious. And it's a good look. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And remember, when it comes down to it, you don't have to ask somebody for permission to do things that you want to do. You're an adult. You're a grown man or a grown woman. But if you want to keep your relationships on an even keel, on a peaceful level, on a non-stressful level, and you want to avoid trouble, sometimes it's a good idea to just to open your mouth and ask for something that you know you could have done without even asking for it. But it builds bridges. It builds bridges instead of tears down bridges or burns bridges. The Daily Go Getimism Show is every single day, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Call in number 319-527-6199. blogtalkradio.com/Sun752. Peace. 1. Holla at y'all later. Have a good night. It's cold out there. Yo, be careful, y'all.